I'm really beginning to be a huge fan of historical weapons. Weapons from World War II and other eras. No, I'm not a fan of war itself, but the actual weapons that were used, they just fascinate me. Not because of the killing, no. It's hard to explain. Maybe some of you might understand. But what excites me even more is that you can now pretty much get, not all, but most of these things in airsoft versions. So if you're a reenactor, fantastic. If you're an airsofter, even more fantastic. So let's have a look today and see what historical weapon I might just order. I've already ordered it. And when it gets delivered, I'll do a review. It's already delivered. Right, oh, look at this. Now this is interesting. The PPSH 41 was influenced by the Finnish Suomi. I think that's how it's pronounced. But anyway, yeah, the KP model 31 or 1931. And it pretty much looks like the PPSH 41, but obviously, look, it's got a grip on this Finnish model right here. And look, here's the PPSH 41 real steel. And yeah, it doesn't have the grip, which leads me to ask, where do you hold a thing at the front? Or, you know, you got your hand on the trigger or your finger on the trigger. Where does your other hand go? Some say you hold it there. Some say you hold it behind the drum. But people who actually know what they're talking about say you actually hold the drum magazine. Wow, that's going to be awkward. And apparently the Chinese copied this as well. And it's quite funny because this airsoft version that I'm about to unbox is made in China. So there's actually a real steel version also made in China. That's the Chinese version, the Type 50. Right, let's go and compare the airsoft version. This is the S&T PPSH 41. Wow. Look at this. Real wood. And look at that drum magazine. And I am led to believe this isn't just made out of real wood and aluminium. There's a heck of a lot of steel involved in the making of this gun. Oh, let's get it out. Oh, this is beautiful. Let me get this out first because I had to make sure I ordered me one of these. Cost me £29.99. It's full metal. It really does look like the real version. It's excellent because yes, as much as I love the idea of a 2,000 round drum mag, you can't own one of these without at least getting yourself one of these bad boys right here. I'll show you all of this in action in a moment. But would you look at this beauty? Let's just get rid of the poison. Love the fact that you can actually see the grain in it. I'll show you this much closer. You know what I do on this channel. I love to show things up really nice and close. Everything on this so far looks almost identical to the real steel. There is something that's throwing me off and I really wish it was a sticker so I could just take it off. But you can see it right there. Made in China, white print on this gun. When this is the Russian version, or based on the Russian version, which is pretty much the original version. Oh my gosh. And this has a nice weight to it. Right, okay. Before we look at the gun itself, let me just take this drum mag out, make sure everything's all correct with that. Very nice. Damn, this even has a good weight to it also. Wow. Okay, let's take a closer look, and we're gonna look at all the features, all the different parts, what they've used to construct this, and we're gonna compare it to the real steel. And no, obviously I don't have the real steel, but there's such a thing as Google and pictures. This, my Airsofter friends, is the S&T PPSH. I am genuinely so happy I decided to buy this because it really does almost 100%, not quite, but almost 100% mimic the real steel version. You've got your real wood stock, and as I mentioned before, let me show it to you closer. Look at that grain in there. Now I know on the real steel, I do believe the wood is of a darker finish, but hey, it doesn't mean this is some kind of cheap wood. This is solid. All of this up here, if I'm correct, is pretty much all steel. There are some smaller aluminium elements to it, or aluminum, and it's just absolutely awesome. I love it. It's got a very good weight to it. It does not feel cheap at all. You ask anyone that has one of these, it's a solid build. Made in China, stamped on the side. It would have been better if that was in black, or it just wasn't there at all. So I gotta find a way of getting rid of that without causing any damage. Now, some of you purists out there would say this needs a nice bit of weathering, and who knows? If I decide to try and weather this, make it look a bit more worn, I could possibly, during that process, get rid of this. If you've got any ideas or tips about how to get rid of this, as opposed to just painting over it in black, because that would just stand out horribly, comment down below. Right, so before I show you any more about this particular PPSH, let's have a look at the drum mag. So this is your drum mag. It's full metal. I love that about this. In terms of how it looks from a distance, yeah, it looks like the real thing, but obviously it's an airsoft one, so you can see the major differences here. And to open this, all you have to do is unscrew this section right here, but you don't have to do it fully, just a turn or two, just loosens it. And then you can push this down like so, and then you can open up your drum mag, and there are the internals. And just like any other high cap mag, you'd use this to wind it up. And I'll show you that in action a little later. So while we're on the subject of mags, I had to get myself one of these stick mags. Now in the real steel world, I do believe they would take around 35 rounds, but in the airsoft world, this is about 540 rounds. Nice, as mentioned before, full metal construction, and you've got your little winding mechanism there because it does take 540 rounds. Now I have heard some people having some issues with the drum mag, that it will jam. There will be some sort of feeding issues. Well, I'm gonna test it, and I promise you I'm not gonna do any trickery or any special editing. If this jams when I test it for the first time, I will tell you. I've got no reason to lie whatsoever. So let's get back to the gun, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna quickly put this mag in and put this mag in. I'll probably put this one in first, have a look at the overall look of the gun, and then put this one in because this is the one it's more famous for. So here it is. Here's a stick mag. Put that down. I'm gonna put this stick mag in, and it looks like it's in nicely, doesn't it? Yeah. No, watch. I'm not even gonna pull it. I'm just gonna shake it. See that? Comes out. Does not sit in there correctly. And the issue is right here. Not so much the issue of this gun, but the mag is supposed to sit on that little ledge right there, and it's not quite doing it. Right now, the issue with this aftermarket stick mag is that this little lip right here and here, they need to be filed down ever so slightly, okay? And then allegedly, this should fit in your PPSH perfectly. I am of the opinion you shouldn't have to do this to a new product, but you do run that risk when you buy aftermarket products for an airsoft gun. Right, so here we go. The mag's been modded. Oh, did you hear that positive click? We didn't hear that the first time, did we? That tells me This is good to go. Excellent. And it's not falling out. I love that. Absolutely love that. So yes, although I'm happy that little mod worked, if you know anyone else that has this issue, if you're thinking of buying this and getting aftermarket mags for it, there's my little mod for this mag. So yeah, spread the word. Airsoft Mike is not all about silliness in his airsoft videos. I do have some odd little tricks and tips and hacks. Okay, and here's the 2000 round drum mag. Nice. Yep, that stays in nice and securely. Now I like to be honest with my reviews, although this is nice and firmly in, there is a slight wobble, but don't worry, it's not gonna fall out. Nice. So this is what your S&T PPSH 4.1 looks like with the drum mag in, and if I'm honest with you, I prefer the drum mag than the stick mag. Now I have seen some arguments online about where do you hold this gun exactly. Now obviously you've got your stock and you've got your trigger, okay, so you know where to hold it there. However, what about this hand? Where does this go? Now I've seen some people say, oh, you just hold it like that. Do you know what? In the airsoft world, so what? Doesn't matter. I've seen some people say, oh, you just put your hand behind here like that. But I tell you what, this feels really uncomfortable and makes this entire PPSH front heavy. Let me show you a photo very quickly. And there you can see the correct way in holding the PPSH 4.1. So, although it may not seem natural, holding it here is not an issue. Some will hold it up here, some will hold it down there, some will hold it down here. At the end of the day, you're supposed to hold on to the drum mag. But you know what? If I'm being totally honest with you, if I was to skirmish with this, you know, use this during gameplay, it will feel a heck of a lot more comfortable holding it like this. It just feels more natural holding this like this. But each to their own. Okay, before I show you any more features on this PPSH EBB, electric blowback or electronic blowback, let's get the battery in, so then I'll be able to show you the functions on this correctly. So to get the battery in this bad boy, all you do is you see this little round disc right there. You get your finger in, you open it up like so, and then can you see up the top right there, there's a little button. You press that button, you grab hold of the butt plate, and you swing it to one side. And there's your battery compartment. Right, so although this has a big old stock, you are still fairly limited to what size battery you can fit in here. Well, I can tell you right now, if you've got one of those 8.4 type battery packs like this, that will fit in there, no problem. However, if you want a little bit more juice, you can actually fit one of these 9.6 volt battery packs right there. You see it? So here's your small Tamiya. I've got the polarity correct. There we go. And you simply pop your battery pack in and look, in there with no issue, with plenty room above the battery for the rest of the cable and your connection. And once your battery pack is in, you just reverse the process of the butt plate. It's as simple as that. You don't even need a screw or anything, and it's there, firm. Now, the battery has been charged, because obviously I did that last night, anticipating the delivery of this bad boy. So we're gonna have a little test. So at this point, I will show you right now, it's got a very cool serial number right there on the trigger guard. And right here is your fire selector switch. Now I believe when it's in your forward position, it's in semi-auto. You pull it back, it will be full auto. So right now I believe it is, yep, that's in your semi-auto, so it should be just single shots per trigger pull. I'm gonna do a quick test, and hey, watch the charging handle right here as the bolt, as it were, goes back and forth. Let me get a better picture for you, there you go. Oh, That was very positive, and I love the clack that you got when I pulled the trigger. Couple more. Nice, that's a very good electric blowback right there. Let me just pull the fire selector switch back. That's now in full auto. Watch. Ooh, nice. Hey, and that's not all regarding this charging handle right here. This also serves as your spring release. Listen carefully as I pull this all the way back. You will hear the spring tension being released. Listen. Did you hear that? It is now released. You can now store your gun. And that's not all, I tell you. Just like the real steel, this has such a multi-function purpose. It's amazing. This also doubles up, or should I say triples up, because I've already shown you at least 2 functions for this, as your safety. And all you would do, you pull this back to this notch right there, and then you push this little black section in that way, and your gun will be on safe. Safe. And then when you're ready to fire, you just release. Oh, and just when you thought there could not possibly be any more purpose or any more use for this charging handle or bolt handle, there is. If you pull it back and lock it in place like I showed you before, like that, you can then open up your upper receiver. Watch, push this forward, and just like the real steel, nice. Now, once you have your PPSH open, you can obviously get access to your barrel, and you can also get access to your quick spring change system right here. Nice. And of course, you can do other bits of maintenance if you wish. And to close it back, you simply push that back down, push this forward, and bring it on home. Nice. Oh, I'm loving this thing. Right, now before I fill the mag up and do a little shooting test, let me show you right now. You've got your front iron sight and you've got your rear iron sight. So now it's time to fill the drum mag, and now that I have the stick mag modded, I'll fill this too, and we're gonna take it to the range. Now I could fill this up a lot more, but that's all I'm gonna do for now, because I'm not really gonna fire all of this during the shooting test. Now for the stick mag, tiny little door right there, you just open that up and fill your mag. And you keep winding it until you see your first BB reach to the top. There you go, first BB, and there's no harm in just giving it a few more winds. And don't forget, you have to do the same with the drum mag. And there's your first BB already. Yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing now is a little shooting test, and apart from testing to make sure that the drum mag doesn't jam or there's no misfeeding, I'm also going to be aiming down range at that target, and I'm looking to hit the head. Okay, so it's a headshot bullseye on the number 3, and yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm going to be about 40 feet away from the target, not exactly a million miles away, but good enough for this little test. Then I'm going to go full auto, still testing the accuracy, and then we're going to chrono this bad boy. So here we go. Okay, hold on. So what I've done, where I've just quickly tested the PPSH, I've put a fresh target up so that there is no mistaking how accurate this thing is. All right, I'm just going to send 1 or 2 down the range for a headshot. Number 3, and then I'll zoom in the camera so you can see it a lot closer. All right, let's zoom in and let's continue the accuracy test. Oh, as I get closer to the target, I can see that's pretty decent. Pretty decent indeed. I'm what, 35, 40 feet away. Oh, I'm happy with those results. I really was not expecting that. That's pretty much bang on bullseye most of the shots. I think my first stray shot hit just down there, but the rest on target, and I'm happy with that. Okay, let's go full auto. And one thing I will say, let me just zoom out a little bit. One thing I will say, if you have any misfeedings with this drum mag, can I suggest that you really wind this drum mag up really well to the point where you start to hear it click, okay? And then you stop winding, and then I don't think you will experience any misfeeding. Now, as I said, I've not had that yet. We're gonna go full auto, so as I mentioned before, to go full auto, have a look, let me just get that focused in for you, there you go, nice. To go full auto, you simply pull this back. Now, I've got one negative here. Can you see that really does look loose? But trust me when I say, it feels okay when you're moving it, but it looks like it's gonna fall off, but it isn't, okay? It's just the way it's been designed like that, but. Oh my gosh. There you go. If anything, that was pretty consistent. It just hung around the 293 and the 294 FPS. That's pretty good. Now, that's with a 9.6 volt battery, and remember, this has a quick spring change system, so if you want to get more meat out of this gun, you can put a more powerful spring in there to push it up to your 350 or more. Okay, so now we're going to give it some full auto. Remember, it's got a standard battery in here and a standard spring. Full auto. Nice. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go full auto on this target without the target, if you see what I'm saying, so that you can see the blowback action and see how awesome it is and hear how awesome it is. Let's try the stick mag. Flipping awesome is that? Wow. Well, there you have it. You've got to love this Airsoft representation of the real steel. PPSH 41. Make sure to catch me next time, because the next major unboxing will be a little bit more modern. Thanks for watching.